This is a story about the power of small changes. It's about how tiny actions repeated consistently can transform our lives. Atomic Habits by James Clear takes us into a world where our daily routines hold the key to the kind of life we want to live, to the person we wish to become. At its core, Atomic Habits is a book about transformation, about how tiny, almost invisible shifts can add up to remarkable results over time. It doesn't call for grand resolutions or instant fixes. Instead, it champions the impact of small, almost unnoticeable changes. James Clear's insight is simple.
Our habits are the foundation of our identity, and by changing them, we change who we are.
James Clear opens his book with a compelling concept. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement.
Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. So it's that your habits are how you embody and shape your identity, not necessarily the focus on results.
In other words, just like money grows when compounded over time, our habits shape and define our lives in ways that accumulate gradually. He explains that if we get just 1% better every day, those tiny improvements will compound, resulting in major changes over time. But the opposite is also true. Bad habits compound as well, pulling us in a direction we may not want to go. Clear offers us a vision for achieving lasting change, not by making sudden, overwhelming shifts, but by understanding and harnessing the subtle power of our daily routines. What's one small habit you've been trying to build? Let us know in the comments. The 4 laws of behavior change.
The 4 stages that any habit goes through: cue, craving, response, reward. So there's some type of cue or raw data that gets your attention. Then you predict or interpret that data in some way, which motivates you to act, take a response, and then somehow that behavior either benefits you or does not benefit you.
Clear organizes his system for creating new habits or breaking old ones into what he calls the 4 laws of behavior change. Let's take a closer look at each of these 4 principles. The first law: make it obvious.
One way to think about this is with a strategy that I call environment design. And the idea is just to restructure your physical environment to make the cues of your good habits obvious and the cues of your bad habits invisible.
Imagine you want to start a habit, something simple like drinking more water every day. Clear explains that one of the easiest ways to make this happen is to make it visible. This is the first law: make it obvious. For example, put a glass of water on your desk or a bottle where you can see it throughout the day. This constant visual reminder prompts you to take action without much effort. In other words, our environment can be a powerful ally in building better habits. Clear offers a clever technique for making a new habit more obvious: habit stacking. In habit stacking, you attach a new habit to an existing routine. If you're already in the habit of making coffee every morning, add your new habit right after. In this case, after making coffee, you drink a glass of water. By stacking a habit you want onto something you already do, you create an automatic cue that will remind you to follow through. The idea is to design our environment and our routines to gently nudge us towards success. Clear stresses that our surroundings can either support or sabotage our habits. What's the hardest part of sticking to a new habit for you? The second law: make it attractive.
For breaking a bad habit. So for bad habits, you want to make it invisible. You want to make the cue invisible, make it unattractive, make it difficult, and make it unsatisfying.
So you've made your habit obvious. But what about actually wanting to do it? This is where the second law comes in: make it attractive. Clear shows us that by associating positive emotions with our habits, we're more likely to stick to them. He introduces us to a powerful tool called temptation bundling. The idea is simple: pair a habit you want to adopt with something you already enjoy. For instance, if you enjoy watching TV but want to start exercising, you could make a rule: you're only allowed to watch your favorite show while you're on the treadmill. By linking a new habit with something pleasurable, you make it easier to follow through. Our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid discomfort. By making our habits attractive, we make them something to look forward to, not just another item on our to-do list. The third law: make it easy.
I took the floss out of the drawer, bought a little bowl, and got some of those pre-made flossers and put them in the bowl and set it right next to my toothbrush. And now I brush my teeth, put the toothbrush down, pick a flosser up, do it right away. It's obvious, and that's pretty much all I needed to do to build that habit. Now I've been doing it for, 5 years and haven't really had to think about it.
If a habit feels like a chore, it's unlikely to stick. This is where the third law comes into play: make it easy. Clear emphasizes the importance of reducing friction to make habits as simple as possible. He suggests the 2-minute rule. Start with an activity that can be completed in under 2 minutes. For example, if you want to build a habit of reading every day, start with reading just one page. The goal isn't to read a book cover to cover right away. It's to create a habit of sitting down with a book every day. Once you're there, the hard part is done, and you're more likely to keep reading. Clear reminds us that the path of least resistance is powerful. By making habits easy, we remove obstacles and increase our chances of success. The fourth law, make it satisfying.
The fourth law is to make it satisfying. And what you really need is to make it immediately satisfying. And the ultimate manifestation of that is the reinforcement of your desired identity. If you are focused on, losing 30 pounds and you go run for a month and then you're like, well, my body hasn't changed, scale's the same. Well, you don't have any rewards to see.
The final law is all about reinforcement. Make it satisfying. Clear explains that our brains are wired to repeat actions that produce positive outcomes. We're far more likely to continue a habit if we feel rewarded in some way. For this reason, he encourages us to find small rewards that reinforce our habits. One simple method is to track your progress. Every time you complete a habit, mark it on a calendar or checklist. This visual record of progress creates a sense of accomplishment. It's satisfying to see the streak of successful days, and we're motivated to keep it going. Clear also warns us of a common trap: delaying the rewards. If a habit only offers long-term benefits, we're less likely to stick with it. To stay motivated, he suggests finding ways to make the immediate experience of the habit enjoyable as well. By following these 4 laws, make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying, Clear shows us how to design habits that stick. Identity and the power of small wins. A central theme of Atomic Habits is identity. Clear argues that true lasting change comes not from setting goals, but from redefining who we believe we are. Rather than saying, I want to run a marathon, he suggests saying, I am a runner. When we shift our identity, habits become expressions of who we are, not just things we do. He also highlights the power of small wins, the little victories that build momentum and reinforce our new identity. Each tiny improvement is like a vote for the person we want to become. And as we accumulate these wins, our confidence grows and our identity solidifies. Clear's message is empowering. We don't have to rely on willpower alone or set grand resolutions. Instead, we focus on building small, sustainable habits that align with our desired identity. If you could achieve one big goal through small daily habits, what would it be? Breaking bad habits.
I think the most effective place to focus on breaking a bad habit is the first and the third stage of my 4-step model. So the first stage is making it invisible. So that's like reducing exposure.
Just as we can create good habits, Clear explains how we can also dismantle bad ones. To break a bad habit, Clear advises us to reverse the 4 laws of behavior change. In other words, make it invisible, make it unattractive, make it difficult, and make it unsatisfying. If you're trying to cut back on screen time, for example, you might make it invisible by putting your phone in another room, or make it unattractive by reminding yourself of the benefits of staying focused. By applying these principles in reverse, we reduce the appeal and accessibility of bad habits. What's a bad habit you're trying to break? Let us know. The power of habits in everyday life. Throughout Atomic Habits, Clear emphasizes that habits are the foundation of everyday success, from personal goals to professional achievements. He points out that many successful individuals owe their achievements not to massive breakthroughs, but to small, consistent actions. The true impact of habits is not always immediately visible. They are the atoms of our daily lives, shaping our futures one small action at a time. The transformative power of Atomic Habits. In Atomic Habits, James Clear doesn't just offer advice. He gives us a framework for change. The journey to self-improvement is not about perfection, but about progress, one tiny habit at a time. He encourages us to embrace the power of small changes, reminding us that every action we take is a vote for the person we want to become. And over time, these votes add up, transforming not only our habits, but our identity, and ultimately, our lives. As Clear says,
You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems.
And it is in these systems, these tiny atomic habits, that we find the power to create a life of meaning and fulfillment. Which topic would you like us to cover next? Drop your ideas below and don't forget to subscribe for more great book insights.